So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the periodic table of the elements. This is going to be kind of our formal introduction. So a couple of things we're going to have you labeling as you go. So right now you should have your periodic table out in front of you with your notes. So a couple of things, we've divided up the periodic table. There's a nice dark set of stairs here, and that divides up our periodic table into metals on the left. So write that in and draw metals with an arrow. And non-metals are on the right. Metalloids are on the actual stair step, except for one. We can also take the elements and we can divide them up into groups or families based on similar chemical properties. So starting over here, group 1 are our alkali metals. Now they are the most reactive metals. They've got 1 electron on the outside. If you drop them in water, these are the fun ones. They make nice little sparks and stuff like that as you go down. They also release hydrogen gas. So you want to go ahead and pick a color and color in this column as our alkali metals. And then when we're coming in, group 2 are the alkaline earth metals. Now these are also reactive. They also release hydrogen gas when you drop them in water. They have 2 electrons on the outside. So pick a color. This is a nice blue, so that would work. Color these as your alkaline earth metals. And as we're going, just kind of jot down the properties on the side. As we keep coming across, here's a big section right in here. And these are called the transition metals. And these metals are common metals. That's what we think of. Silver, gold, copper, stuff like that. They make bright and shiny compounds. Coming across, but this one does have a name. These are the
halogens.
Thank you. They've got 7 electrons on the outside. They are also very reactive nonmetals. They like to pair up with our alkali metals to form our compounds. And then right here at the end, in purple, because purple is the color of nobility, these are our noble gases.
So do they like rule all the other elements?
Well, yes and no. They actually have, and we're going to talk a lot about this a little bit later, but they have full energy shells on the outside. And that's what all these atoms want. So they're not really going to react with the other elements. They're going to stay apart from the other.
So we call them noble because they're snobby.
Yeah.
They just kind of hang out on their own.
Yeah, that's basically it. These are all of our neon, argon, and krypton. These are the colors that we get in our fluorescent lights or lights we have in the room and stuff like that. Some other ones right here in the center. If you actually take this section and split it, so we spread it out all the way over there, we have intertransition metals. They are radioactive. Most of them, like these, are man-made. That means you can't just go on the ground and dig them up. You're going to make them in a lab or something like that. There's a lot more information we can get from the periodic table, but we're going to kind of talk about that as we get to it. We don't want to kind of get overwhelmed about it. Now, there is one other thing I want to also mention. We have diatomic elements.
We talked about diatomics a little bit when we were talking about types of matter, right? The di meant 2.
Right. And the atomic is
atoms.
Atoms. So we've got 2 atoms put together. And there's 7 of them. We've got nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and hydrogen. That's number 7. A handy tip to figure this out, this is something you can label on your periodic table. If you just trace the outline of these, it kind of looks like it makes a number.
Makes a 7, doesn't it?
It makes a 7.
So we start at 7 and we make a 7, and that gets all of them except for hydrogen.
Except for hydrogen. Yeah, hydrogen likes to be by itself for a lot of different things. And we're going to...
But not by itself because it's a diatomic element.
Right, good call. So we can use 7 to make 7, and we can also spell out something. A good friend of mine named Brinkelhoff. And so if we take the symbols for the elements, Brinkelhoff, we can take all of the letters from the different elements and we can spell them out to make my good friend and soon to be your good friend, the Brinkelhoffs. All right, so let's make sure we've got everything wrapped up. Point to the alkali metals.
Or group 1.
All right. How about the transition metals?
They were that big group here in the middle, right?
Right, the big section. Alkaline earth metals.
Here, and we can remember alkaline earth versus alkali because alkaline earth, 2 words, second group, alkali 1 word, first group.
I like it. How about the noble gases?
Noble gases, they were the purple ones. They're
Yes.
all hanging out over here.
Purple ones. Intertransition?
Intertransition, oh, these are these weird ones that are supposed to be there, but they're here just to make life easier.
Right. And then the halogens, I think, is the last one.
Halogens, right here.
Very good.
They make salt.